special shout out to our sponsors of Russ Reels Live, Hard Lumber in Albany, Oregon, the Alzheimer's Association, and Mugs Coffee in Lebanon, Oregon. For more information about Hard Lumber in Albany, Oregon and their building supplies, call 541-926-1525. And for more information on the Alzheimer's Association and how to give, you can go to alz.org or check out the link to the Walk-In to Alzheimer's in the comments. Thank you, Jim Coleman. And Mugs Coffee House in Lebanon, Oregon. For amazing coffee, go to mugslebanon.com. Ta-da! Welcome to Russ Reels Live, everybody. I am so excited. It is Thursday afternoon, 4 p.m. on the Pacific Coast here, and I am coming to you from Salem, Oregon, and so excited for today. Wherever you are, I am so blessed that you're here, and I am telling you, you're going to be super blessed by our panel today. And if you have not already, share this show out now and let people know amazing people talking networking today. So tag all your friends, share it with people, let people know we're going to be talking about how to build your network today and some really amazing people that have done that. So super excited about that. And I just wanted to thank you again for being here. You know, in Russ Reels Live, we're here every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time for your viewing and listening pleasure. And we just have so much fun. This is a topic-driven, panel-driven show. So what do I mean by that? Well, this is what I mean. We have a great panel every week and an amazing topic, and we just go at it and talk about things that will add value to your life and things that have added values to our lives. I learn every week on this show, and so it is an amazing, amazing platform, and I appreciate it. So, well, thank you for being here today. I want to let you know that, again, we appreciate so much people that subscribe on YouTube. And why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because you get all the past content as well as notices to upcoming content. If you just go to russreels.live, that's all you got to do. russreels.live. It will take you directly to my YouTube page. In fact, you can open up a separate tab. Do that now. If you have not subscribed, subscribe today, because I'm telling you, great, amazing content. They make me look good. I have such great people on this show. So I am so thankful and blessed. God has given me amazing friends that are willing to come on and spend their time with me. And so I just want to thank you for being here, spending your time with us as well. Also, as I said before, please share this out. Tag your friends, share it with your friends, and let them know Russ Reels Live is on. An amazing, amazing group today. And I am just so thankful for that. So I want to get things moving along here, but I want to tell you two other things. Number one, behind me, if you have not got your copy of Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, love to have you get a copy of that. That is just my way of helping to encourage and inspire you in written form. It is an easy read book, but with great, great inspiring information for you. A little bit more about my life and things that have been going on over the years. So I would love for you to get that. Also, I have been blessed to be part of a project called Rattled Awake. And Rattled Awake is just released recently on Amazon, and I am a co-author. I have 10 amazing other authors with them. We each wrote a chapter. Amazing people, and talking about the moment in life that they were rattled awake, that they were really that aha moment and how it impacted their lives in an amazing way. So I go over my cancer battle over the last year a little bit, and really my rattled awake moment during that. So if you get a copy of that on Amazon, that would be awesome. That was an international bestseller overnight, as well as #1 in its category in Amazon when it first came out. So that has been a blessing, such a blessing. So wanted to remind you about that. And one more thing that I did not mention, and that is I love to connect. And if I haven't mentioned that, hey, I love to connect. And we're going to talk about networking tonight. And I just want you to know that all you got to do is go to russhedge.com to connect with me. All of my information's on there. If you need help marketing or live streaming or anything, you can go there and I'd be happy to chat with you. You can schedule time directly on my calendar, Zoom with me. We can talk about things. No cost for that, by the way. No cost to be my friend. And so I would love to be your friend. So please go there to russhedge.com and click on that today. Plus you get a free download, how to successfully transform your business in 3 simple steps, all about connection and community building. I'll probably pull a little of that out tonight as we talk, because this is really wraps around our subject tonight. So, okay, I think that is definitely it. And you know what? I am going to talk with first our guest, who is just an amazing individual. He is a master connector. He is just a guy you need to know. And if you're probably already connected to him, but if not, here he comes, Mr. Steve Spiro. Woo!
What's going on, Russ? Good to see you. Good to see
Hey,
you,
Steve.
as
So
always.
good to see you too. You are a blessing. You are an awesome friend. I appreciate you. And I don't get to watch your show as much as I like, because
Shame on you.
you know how life gets, but I intentionally get there occasionally because such a great show, the Master Connector show, and all that you do. But I don't want to give everything away. Tell everybody, who is Steve and what are you up to?
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. It's an honor to be on here with you, sir. And yeah, we keep you in prayer. I know you're overcoming for sure. But yeah, Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct. I gotta say that it's a signature of mine. But yeah, I was an introvert, shy, picked on, bullied, learning disabled, dyslexic. Wound up going into advertising marketing, went to high school and college for that. Got out, couldn't get a job, started a company. Also a martial arts background, a couple black belts, had a karate studio. But was successful in the advertising industry, but wound up meeting a mentor. Eventually took me under his wing and eventually challenged me. He said, you need to meet 3 strangers every day. And I did that and started doing that. It stretched me big time. When you're from New York, if you talk to strangers, you're going to get shot or kidnapped. But he did it. Eventually became grew a massive network. Today I do consulting. I also, as you said, I have a show on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, Master Connector show. I just wrote a book. And I do speaking. I'm an inspirational speaker and my hands in several other things, just a few things to keep me productive. So
keep you out of trouble, right?
Say again?
Keep you out of trouble, right?
Keeps me out of trouble for sure. Was it idle hands are of the devil or something like that, right?
Yeah, I tell you, well, you are definitely not idle. That is for sure. And speaking of not being idle, a man who is all over the place, a man who is one of the best connectors on LinkedIn I have found, Mr. David Alto, my good friend. Hello, David.
Well, hello. Yeah, I did. I was on a live at 5:30 this morning Pacific time. So you're my second live, of course, the best live.
There you go.
And
well,
before I do look forward to reading this weekend. So
awesome.
Yeah, thank you for that, Russ. So
well, thank you for getting a copy of that. I appreciate you. And David, I keep thinking back to, and I love these moments. You were so kind, so thoughtful. You reached out to me when you came through town. We had coffee. We got a time to see each other face to face. And what an amazing man you are and a good friend. And so tell everybody a little bit more about David Alto and what are you up to?
Yeah, first of all, yes, you need to, if you can, go and try to meet some of your connections on LinkedIn. You just need to, you're going to be somewhere, you start looking up some people. Hey, maybe you only got a couple minutes. That's okay. Maybe you're in an airport. They can meet you there, whatever, but you need to. Yes. So in a nutshell, I help job seekers. It could be with career advice, could be with interview prep, needing that resume, needing that LinkedIn profile that actually gets recruiters to contact them. And I've recently started doing outplacement services. I have a client that's going to be laying off 100 people every month from October until April. They're doing it slowly, but I'll be helping them with so that's going to keep me extremely busy. I love LinkedIn. Boy, I tell you what, most people on LinkedIn are consuming. Hey, I see Kenny's watching us from YouTube there. Hello, Kenny. On LinkedIn, most people consume LinkedIn, meaning, on Instagram, on Facebook, people are posting all the time. On LinkedIn, if you show up and post tips and advice, you can wake up one day with 118,000 followers. I still don't know how that happened, but it just did. So
it did, definitely. And you know what I have found? I'm going to give away a little secret, and we could talk more about these tips and tricks, but here's my first tip. My David Alto tip and trick to connecting with people. When you have good friends like David who are highly connected, go into their feed and look at the people they're connected with, the people that you want to be connected with. Send them a message, a connection request. And I always tell people, this is honest from the bottom of my heart, by the way. I tell them, I see you're connected to David. You know, any friend of David's is a friend of mine, because that is so true. And I said, I'd love to connect. And boom, almost all of them connect to me. And almost all of them tell me how great David is. I love that guy, they tell me. So yeah. Speaking of loving people and people that have been around for a while, the person with probably almost the best name in this group, and that would be Mr. Russ Johns in the house. Hey, Russ.
What's happening, everyone?
Well, we're here waiting for you, because now we got double Russ power going on.
Yeah,
and
in
this
stereo.
is really Russ Reels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's great to be here, Russ. And as always, I enjoy hanging out with you. And I'm kind of envious of David being able to cruise by and catch up with you in person. I was there earlier in the year and unavailable. We missed each other, but I'll keep going. I'll keep trying again, and we'll catch up eventually in person. So
yeah, that was so close. I was within 45 minutes of being able to meet up with Russ, but his schedule was slightly off. Mine was slightly off from each other. And so we just didn't quite do it, but oh man, I was so bummed. You were so close. And so that's kind of how I'm feeling. I told you guys, I get the pleasure and blessing because some people that have helped and blessed me. I get to go back to the Tim Stone Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer conference this next Friday, a week from tomorrow. And so there's going to be people like Tim Stone I've never been in the same room with. And what a blessing that's going to be, but also sharing that perspective on cancer in our lives and how it's touched us. It'll be really meaningful to me. And when I told my beautiful wife and my daughter that I wanted to go back, they're like, you definitely got to do that. And it's going to be a blessing. So yes, David, your tip and trick about meeting up with people in person, very, very important. And the person I get to meet up with in person more often than the rest of y'all, but not enough, is my good friend and co-host who I see online every week, Mr. D. Scott Smith. Hey, Scott.
It's funny because we are just like 10 minutes apart, but life and stuff anyway. But
yeah, well, we do get together every now and then.
Here.
And yes. Well, and people, if you watch closely on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott, you'll see new pictures occasionally when Scott and I are actually together. And last time he came and visited me in my backyard when I was recovering, and brought me comic books and just blessed me. So that was so awesome. So
I figure when you're recovering from surgery, what's the best thing, right? I mean, you got to have a Marvel and DC comic books, because
oh yeah, you bet.
That's healing right there, right?
That did it for me. Well, Scott, listen, most everybody knows you, but for those that don't, give everybody a little insight. Who is Scott and what are you all about?
Yeah, so fortunate to live with my beautiful wife in Independence, Oregon, and we're right across the river from Salem. So we're about an hour from Portland here in Western Oregon, and it's a little destination town, if you will. We're right on the river. It's founded in 1845. I walked downstairs to the coffee shop, the bakery, candy store, walk to the post office, walk to the cinema. It's like an ideal life. But I did write a book. Oh, no, that's not my book, but you should get a copy of this one.
You should buy that book.
Get a copy of this one. So here's Business Networking, a Scientific Method. And networking, you don't have to be an extrovert, and it is not limited by being an introvert.
There you go. That is so true. And that is a good way to start off this discussion, because it's interesting, Scott, my profession before. I was sales and marketing manager for a large corporation, and had a whole sales team that went out there. And I learned in hiring them, some of the best salespeople were not extroverts. They were just good connectors. They were authentic connectors. And it made such a big difference, because it's really not the quantity you do, but the quality you do. I just happen like to do a high quantity and a high quality all at the same time, but I'm trying to be like David. One day I'll get there and I'll be able to do that. But so David, let's start off with you and give everybody a little insight on when you started in your connection and networking journey. Man, it's turned into an amazing group and community you have, especially on LinkedIn.
Yeah. What did I start off doing? Well, I took some tips and advice in 2019 for some amazing people here on LinkedIn, and I really didn't worry about my content. I really just engaged with other people that thought leaders, just anybody that resonated with me, regardless of industry. And, I connected away. I tried to get on 4 or 5 Zoom calls a week with some of these people, and we weren't burnt out on Zoom calls just yet. So, and why not? Now, maybe we never did that again, but that's okay, and maybe we didn't get in person like, Russ and I did. But again, did that initially. And then I consumed LinkedIn. And anytime I learned something new on LinkedIn, I shared it as a tip. Now, it could be something regarding LinkedIn. It could have been something thought leadership. I was still in my day job at the time, but I was still providing resume advice because I've been writing resumes and helping people, job seekers, for a long time, just on the side, not getting paid for it. But anytime I learned anything new, I shared it on LinkedIn, and people want to learn on LinkedIn. That's why they're here. Most people consume LinkedIn. It's not like Facebook and, Instagram, where people post all the time. People consume it. So they want subject matter experts. And even if you're not an expert, or you're at a different level of expertise, if you provide value, then you can consider yourself somewhat an expert. And again, some of my clients will say, well, Dave, if they're not in my industry or don't work for the company, why would I want to connect with them on LinkedIn? And I would say, well, you don't go to an in-person networking event and only connect with people or chat with people, that are in your industry. The answer is no. So you should do the same thing on LinkedIn. Now, if they live in a third world country and you don't want to, chat with them, I get it. Maybe they try to sell you something. I get it. But you have to open yourself up to having conversations with a little bit of everybody. And maybe that's not, again, a Zoom call. Maybe it's just messaging back and forth in the comments. And it is a little bit of work, but it's very rewarding work. And you get to meet amazing people here on LinkedIn.
Well, I couldn't agree with that more. I have met all of you amazing people except for D. Scott Smith, because he and I actually graduated Oregon State together and are both Oregonians, knew each other before, but it was through networking because we didn't know each other in college. We met years later through business, through a networking event, and through a local chamber. And, I think what David said is true. And then, Steve, I'm going to kick it to you because you are the master connector. But I found that if you put some work in, I have made a goal every day to reach out to a certain number of people and connect with them. My goal each year, the last 2 years, has been to truly connect with over 1,000 new people each year. And people say, well, that's impossible. No, I mean, last year I just knocked that out of the park. That's only just over 3 people a day. You can authentically connect with 3 people a day. You just takes a little bit of work. And so you've got to put that little bit of work in, but what a blessing it is. And I have found making it simple. You guys know that I use my connection link. I make it super simple. I kick it out to people. I would say 90% of the people I kick it out to connect with me, and we Zoom and we talk. And I have made amazing friendships that way, or pursuing them on their shows like I did to both Russ and Steve. So Steve, take it away. Oh, and you're muted though.
Rookie mistake. There it goes. Got to have it happen one time. Got to get that T-shirt from 2020. You're on mute. But David, great stuff there. And man, I'm aspiring to be at your level, man. You're in the 120,000 plus followers. That's incredible. Great job with that. Yeah, I mean, so LinkedIn, I started my journey in 2008 with LinkedIn and kind of baby steps, but then eventually started to, mass, send out mass emails until they started putting you in jail for it, LinkedIn jail. But I tell you one thing that has helped me, because there is a limit to the amount of connect requests you can do, and I'm growing my LinkedIn connection still. So one thing is, because I think they limit you to roughly about 120 a week. I want to say connect requests, something like that. There's a certain limit to it. But one thing I find is really good as a technique to reach out to people is you go into the who you may know section, right? And then it kind of breaks it up into categories. So right now I'm looking to connect with people more in the New York area, New York metro area, and it's broken out in a category. And now I could kind of scroll through that and just systematically hit a connect button. I don't do the special message. And a large majority of people connect back with me. They accept my connect request. I also like scrolling through the news feed, and seeing who stands out to me, because I get obviously people on the feed that I'm not connected with. But I find it to be interesting. But to David's point, it's been an incredible blessing. Throughout COVID, when we were locked down, I felt more connected than ever before, because I was growing my community on LinkedIn. My policy is, if we connect on LinkedIn, you're going to get a message, and I'm going to suggest we get on a Zoom call. Not everyone's going to take me up on it. In a way, thank God they don't, because I probably wouldn't get anything done, because I'm connecting with a good amount of people every week. But I'm averaging probably 20, 25 Zoom calls a week, something like that, of people that I've connected recently with LinkedIn, or reconnects with people I spoke to 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago and want to reconnect and catch up. So I also like doing the, congrats on your anniversary, congrats on your job change. And I'll send the message. And if they respond, I'll suggest we get on a call to catch up, or if we haven't connected before. So those are some things that I do, because I feel like if you're on LinkedIn and you're connected, you're not really connected unless you actually have a conversation. You need to build a relationship. And it's funny when I talk to some people, especially the younger generation, they're like kind of weirded out, some of them, right? Like, I don't know you. Why would I talk with you? I'm like, okay. Aren't you on a social networking platform to connect with new people? I mean, I don't get that, but yeah, it's interesting out there. But the majority of people are very open-minded to connecting, and I think it's great.
Yeah, well, I think what you just said, it's a particular mindset, and there are people that are not of that mindset. But definitely reaching out to people. There's many ways, and you and I have, and David have talked about a few of them already. But you got to take that time to really get to know people. This is why I consider all of you amazing friends, even though I still got to get in the same room with you, Steve and Russ. But you know what? You can, as my friend D. Scott Smith, he scientifically proved, you can create amazing connections and friendships even through video. And he gave us talk on that a few years ago in Dublin, Ireland. And Scott, I'm going to jump to you real quick and give everybody just a little insight on that.
And I am not muted. No. Starting off right. So, yeah, I gave a talk, and it was called the Psychology and Physiology of Relationships. And what we did is looked at the brain science around how we connect, and basically looked at that academic research and proved that the relationships that we create digitally can be just as strong as those that we create face-to-face. Now, this was back in 2016. So 2020 comes along, and we have a 3-year global laboratory that proved that to be true.
That's right. Exactly. Well, and that was a very short description of that, but I think what is important about all that, you caught me off guard. You ended
we
so
only
soon.
have a limited amount of time.
You're so good at that. You are so good at that.
Pack it in there, right?
But when I am multitasking here as we're talking. What I love about that is not only did you create scientific proof around that, but you also made amazing friends in Ireland, which propelled you to start the Global Tea Break with Alan Hennessy, which propelled you to ask your good friend Russ to join the Global Tea Break, which propelled me to a networking journey around the world.
It
And-
did. It did.
Yeah.
So let me just, I'll go a little bit more on that. I'll tell one of the stories that they did. So part of the research around this was putting people at the base of a hill and asking them how steep that hill was. And when they were by themselves, invariably, that hill appeared to be steeper than when they had a good friend standing next to them. So if Steve Spiro and I are standing there and they ask me, Scott, how steep is that hill? I will say that it is not as steep as if I was when I was alone. But they continued it on and they said, okay, now just think about a good friend. So I go, okay, Russ Johns, this is my good friend. And how steep is that hill? Well, it turns out again that he didn't need to physically be there, right? He didn't need to be there in person. I just needed to know that Russ Johns is my friend, and the world is less daunting when you have a good network, when you're connected with people. And there's two types of support. There's enacted support, and that's the stuff where I go, oh, I'm going to bring comic books to Russ because he needs to heal up from surgery. Well, that's enacted support. But perceived support, and that's just knowing, Russ Hedge knowing that David and Steve and Russ and Scott are there for him, even though we don't do anything. Just knowing that you have those connections is more important than the enacted support. So perceived support is critical in our lives, and it's a part of our network.
Well, and what is so amazing about that, Russ, and I'm going to jump to you next, and that is perceived support. I can remember running with and walking with friends when I was young to exercise. So let's just say running. Running is harder. So we're jogging together, we're running together. Well, you know what? It is way easier when you got somebody next to you you're talking with and you feel their support. My son and his beautiful wife were just in New York, and they sent us videos of them running across the Brooklyn Bridge into Manhattan. And I tell you, when you're in a beautiful place like that with the one you love, it is a lot easier to run across the Brooklyn Bridge, I can tell you. So those kind of things are so true. Russ, take it from there.
Well, not only does it give you the perception of being assisted along the way, and I think it really actually encourages you to have a little bit more confidence because you're not alone. There's this feeling when you're isolated that you're alone, and with the technology, the communications, and the collaboration that we have, like this as an example, is the idea that we have a global connection now, the ability and opportunity to have conversations that we can encourage each other. We can have technology that allows this to take place. And what I was thinking of when Scott was explaining that is the idea that I have hanging in my room here. I have a bicycle that I purchased probably in 1976. It was a very high-end bicycle because I rode bicycles, and whenever we would ride together, it was almost like this encouragement along the way. And so like drafting, and when the wind hit you could take turns in the wind, and you could travel for miles that way. And that's exactly what we're doing now in a digital format, is this idea that we have people that are along the ride, they're part of the community, and they can encourage, and like David said, add value. And, where we can actually meet in person, and that's what we're doing here is an extension of that. And we don't have to be in the same town, same room, or the same city. However, we have that connection. We have that ability to build confidence in our ability to help and support each other. And I think that's so important for us to think about as we move forward in life here today.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Steve, I'm going to bounce to you on this, but I give an example of how sometimes it's way better to actually do it virtually because of the ground you can actually cover. I was driving from the town of Lebanon, Oregon to Albany, Oregon, only like a 20-minute drive or less. And on the way, I was speaking on the phone to my good friend Usama, who's over in Cyprus in the Middle East. I stopped and I had to talk to Alan Hennessy in Dublin, Ireland. I ripped down to Florida to talk to Rods for a little while. Then I had to come over to Denver, down to LA, and back to Salem, all before 11 a.m. And you know what? You can cover so much ground to fly all those areas and do all that. It would take you a little bit longer than that. So sometimes, Steve, this virtual thing can work out to your advantage, right?
Yeah, 100%. I just want to chime in on the whole D. Scott Smith's theory about the video and virtual. You know, one thing that comes to mind, I don't know if you guys do this, but I love binge watching on Netflix. I'll admit I am in recovery on that. You know, on a 12-step program on that, but you know, love watching these shows, and especially ones that have great character development, because I almost feel like I have a relationship with them. I feel like they're friends of mine, and they're on a camera, they're on screen now. And so I feel like, I don't know if it's me or the world has just shifted with that, but I believe that the video connection is kind of maybe a stepping stone of that a little bit, right? Where you're actually getting to have relationships with people virtually. But I agree with you. I've got an incredible relationship with somebody who I met through LinkedIn. He was was trying to get on my show. He's a comedian, speaker. He didn't necessarily, that didn't work out, but we become one of the closest friends that I've been to. He's in the Carolinas, so I've been to the Carolinas. He's been to New York and Connecticut now. You know, I mean, we've got this incredible, strong relationship, and it's a result of, you know. And by the way, I'm happily married. I don't mean it in any weird way, but you know, it's like we are, you know, it's a great bond and connection, and it was done through a virtual relationship. We probably spent a good, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months connecting before we actually got to meet physically. And it's amazing. And people like you, Russ, I mean, you know, I feel like we're close friends and we've never physically met. Now, shame on you if you come to New York and you haven't asked me to connect with me, you know, physically, you know. And Russ Johns, you got to come. We got to figure out how to connect if you're going to be in New York also. I'm a 40-minute drive from New York City, or, you know, up this way. We're right on the water here. So come here, hang out, whatever. So, but anyway,
how close are you to Newark Airport?
Yeah, maybe like 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. I unfortunately I am not driving. I have somebody coming to pick me up, but you're welcome to come to Newark Airport. I'll be there and we can take a selfie. But no, I agree with you. I mean, you know, and back to what David said a little while ago about taking advantage of those. Every time I go somewhere, Steve, I am thinking about, oh my goodness, who do I need to connect with that lives in that area? I want to find people that I can actually meet up with and connect with, because you don't always get a lot of those opportunities, right? And so it's amazing. And, you know, again, through networking and through connecting. So I'm a huge connection community builder, and just like we're talking about today. And my whole thing is really about how it works from one person to the next when you actually put a little effort in. You can get all the way around the world. Dr. Nupi Aurora, who I produce her live stream show, has connected me with people in Portland, Oregon that are actually 40 minutes from me. And I got connected. She's in England. She's connecting me with people over here. It's amazing, you know, how things work, right? So anyway, I'm just so thankful. So, okay, David, back
Russ,
to you.
Can I just say one thing?
David
Alto is not the originator. No disrespect, you're amazing, but you might have probably read it from the book Never Eat Alone, because in that book, which is a great networking book, really a good networking book, he recommends when you travel, you go, you ask people, hey, would you like to grab coffee or grab a bite? And when I visited this friend in North Carolina, that's exactly what we did. I had a little mini networking group of 5 people that I connected with, including him. And we had like a little coffee shop, and we had a little networking thing. All people I met through LinkedIn. It's pretty cool. So absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly what you're doing, though. Just want to throw that in there.
Well, David, as I bounce to you here, I was going to say that on that topic, one of my favorite things to do in live networking groups is to whittle down from making an impact on everybody in the room to the few you're actually going to connect with outside the room, coffee, lunch, whatever. And you can do that virtually, virtual coffee, virtual lunch. I do that all the time. David, how did you get to 101? I don't even know how many you've got, 100,000+ connections.
Sure.
What's your secret?
There's the secret. The secret is no secret. The secret is showing up, providing advice and guidance, and really, I don't engage. I don't spend hours on my own content. I engage with the people that are commenting, but I spend more time engaging with the content of others, just like what you said, Russ. You went to my profile and started engaging with some of the people that are commenting on mine, and that's a good best practice. I mean, some of the best ways to get noticed is not by posting, because let's say you're new to LinkedIn, you have 100 followers. Well, when you post, you're probably not gonna. It's probably going to be crickets, right? Not a lot of people engaging. But if you spend more time, maybe engaging with somebody that has a couple 100,000 followers, and what if you're one of the first people to engage with that post, right? So, and if you're following them and you rang their bell, you'll get a notification when they post almost immediately, most of the time when LinkedIn isn't, all kind of screwed up once in a while, but you'll get a notification. But if you're one of the first people that post and you like share a very thoughtful comment, well, what if that post gets thousands and thousands of comments? What if it gets hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views? Well, then your content's being seen by more people. So that's what I did for quite a long time on LinkedIn, because even I still remember having 5,000 followers and connections on LinkedIn, and my content's still not getting very much love and attention. So I went back to doubling down on spending more time on engaging with the content of others. And then if you provide tips and advice daily, you decide to do that more often than daily, a couple times a day. I saw my views and follower count and connections double when I doubled down on putting out more content.
Right. Well, and I think what's amazing about that, and I look at you're one of the people in this group right here are some of the small group that I really intentionally go to on a regular basis. And let me tell you that when you get on other people's content where they're having a lot of engagement and you start engaging, those people, a lot of David's people that I've connected with recently have really started engaging back with me. I've got Zoom meetings with them where they're liking my content, showing up on live stream shows, doing stuff. And it just takes a little bit of effort, but you know what? By engaging and showing other people you care, people start caring about you, right, Russ? People jump in and they say, you know what? Don't care how much Russ knows, but I know that he cares and I want to help him.
Yeah, it's and that's where the theme, kindness is cool and smiles are free. It takes no investment other than your time and like D. Scott Smith, being an active listener and paying attention, getting engaged in a community or a conversation, like David said, being in the comments, being there and available to offer some valuable information, not just say, hey, great post, thanks. Actually taking the time and being thoughtful with your responses and your engagement. It's important, and people recognize that, and people want to be associated and connect with people that care. And that it's a simple equation. It's humanity 101. And I think that's really what it's about, is, just showing up, paying attention, and being present.
Yeah. I think that's the secret right there. It's being present. And, I just said it, but I love that quote by John Maxwell. And I think it's been said by a few others, but I know John Maxwell is attributed to it. And that is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. The caring thing, the kindness is cool, smiles are free, showing people you care, showing people you want to spread kindness and just be not one of those creepy people on LinkedIn that sends you a 10-page sales pitch on the first connection request. Okay. Can I just say, for anybody who's watching, it's creepy. Okay. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because first of all, I just say, thanks
Oh.
for connecting. Have a nice life. And off I go, never to probably come back to that person
Does
again
anybody-
because
I
that's
have a
not connection.
franchise. I have a franchise opportunity.
Yes.
Does anybody
I
read
mean,
those? I don't read them. I don't read them. They're too long.
No, no. In
Oh.
fact, that's another thing. Okay, so let's talk about that. When you engage with people, short and punchy is good, right? Because people don't have all day to read posts. And when you're doing your daily posts, like David's are like this, my newsletter, by the way, is like this too. Just
Mhm.
FYI, if you guys are not subscribed to my newsletter, but First Coffee, got to subscribe to that. But short and punchy, short and good information. Get it out and let people to be able to consume it quickly, right, Scott? You want to let them consume that content without having to sit there all day to read it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of the caring, right? We care about people's time. You want to respect that. And if all they do is read your stuff, I mean, maybe. So here's the deal. On the average, Americans consume 5 hours of video every day, right? Which
That's
basically
insane.
says on the average, Americans have 5 hours of discretionary time every day. They just don't know what to do with it, right?
Mhm.
So, but I want to address David's 170 some thousand followers there, because what we talk about is there's two different types of networks, right? So David doesn't know 170,000 people. He's connected to 170,000 people, but so that's your extended network. And from that, you pull what I call your active network. And in this case, we follow Robin Dunbar's rule, which he's the English sociologist who says we can manage about 150 relationships, plus or minus, right?
Mhm.
And so what you do is go to your LinkedIn profile, download your contacts. It'll take you about it'll take a few minutes, but it's going to come into a spreadsheet. And it's a really cool thing because it's in reverse chronological order. So the most recent person that you connected with is going to be at the top, all the way down to the very first person you connected with. And as you scroll through that, you'll go, oh yeah, that's when I worked at this company. And this is when I was at this conference. And these are these different things, right? You'll see these strata. And then in that spreadsheet, not in your LinkedIn profile, but on that spreadsheet, go through and delete the rows of the people that you don't know, right? Delete the rows of the people that you would never do business with, either getting referrals or giving referrals or something, right? And then what's going to happen is every time we've done this, you're going to come down to between 100 and 120 people. That's your active network. Those are the people that you do business with. And there's 5 distinct roles within that. There's your mentors and advisors. Who is it that you turn to for advice? Your mentees, because everyone should be giving back to the next generation or to someone else that's coming along. And by the way, the teacher learns more than the student anyway, so it's going to be good for you. And then you've got customers. And if you're a student, those are your teachers and your employers, right? But you've got your customers. So that's the next group. The largest group of people are what I call partners. These are people who solve problems that you don't solve, but allow you to add value into your network, right? They're I don't do web development, but I know a web developer. Oh, you want to start a podcast? Let me connect you up with Russ, right? You need to get a show produced. Let me connect you up to the other Russ, right? That allows me to add, that's probably 60% of your network is people who solve problems that you don't solve. The final group are your advocates. Those are the people who actually send referrals your way. That may be only 6 or 10, maybe 12 people if you're lucky out of that 120. So you need to understand that. So when you go to a networking event, and you shake hands with somebody, or you walk in, you're traveling like Steve, and you have lunch with somebody just to connect with them, you're not there just to sell them something, and they know that, because you say, look, I just want to know where you fit. I have a structure.
Mhm.
I have an extended network. From that, I pull into my active network, and it's very likely that I just need to know what you do and and what problem you solve and who your customer is, because I meet people every day. And I got to and they have problems. That the world has problems. Those people have problems and they're looking for solutions. I can connect you up. That's what I want to do. And so that's a long-winded answer to something you said. You should be short.
No, that's all right. I skipped over you last time anyway, so you deserved a double slot on that one. But this is one thing that I find too, and you, I believe, have all done this for me, and that is, and I try to do this for you, and that is connecting people together. One thing I love about this show is I'm able to connect people live on the air that don't know each other a lot of times, but I also just send somebody, hey, you know what? Two awesome people that should know each other, Scott and David, whatever, and just let them take it from there, because that mutual connection, Steve, is what gives us that it's kind of the warm, it's like the warm call, right? Warm lead, whatever. It's not like completely cold because they say, oh, well, they know Steve. Well, of course, this got to be a good person, right? What do you think about that?
Yeah, 100%. And that's partially why I wanted to grow a big network, because, and there's a big debate about it, hey, quality versus quantity, quantity versus quality. I think you can get quality in the quantity, right? And so having a big network has been great. And I'm aspiring to be like David. It was be like Mike, be like David, right? But but the cool thing is when I connect with somebody, maybe I want to connect with a high-level CEO, and if for some reason I'm connected with 16 of his peers, he's saying to himself, 16 of my peers think that he's worthy enough to connect with. I'm going to connect with him, and maybe I should actually talk with him. So there's a real value in having, and again, I'm not accepting anyone's connect request. If it's from another country, very rarely, because again, same thing. They're probably pitching you, or there's a scam going on. 99 often. I'm not saying all the time. There's people that are legit. I'm not saying anything about people from other countries, but in my experience, it's what it's been seeming like when I do at least accept or engage. But the bottom line is big network. And then the other thing is, my perspective when I'm out there networking, I've got this huge value of this resource of in my case, 25,000 connections. And I could potentially offer some of those to you and make some connections, connect some dots. So there's a real asset that you have in building a big network. And besides the exposure, right? Used to be in the advertising industry. And you got these the Super Bowl ads are still to this day get whatever, it's $1 million a minute or some crazy number because of the huge number of eyes that watch the ad, right? So you want to have exposure to 3 people or 3,000 or 30,000, whatever, right? And so there's a real value to a big network. But I think the biggest one, back to your question, Russ, is when somebody sees a mutual connection or multiple mutual connections, they're like, man, this person, I need to speak to this person. And there's real value there.
And I'll just say, I mean, this is the perfect thing. You got to make those connections, right? And this is the beautiful thing about LinkedIn, because it's easy for me to go, oh, Steve, do you know David? Right? Connect. So literally right before this show, I was in another networking event. Anastasia Lipsky runs this event, and it's been a while since I was there. She talks about how to get on podcasts and to be a good host and to be a good guest. And she had a new person on there, Helen Cernette. Helen's got a podcast where she just reads lists, right? Lists of presidents, lists of vice presidents, and it's all about putting people to sleep. It's just 15 minutes of a list, right? So you put it on and you fall asleep. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And but she goes, but I'm looking for connections. And I go, look, as a part of the Global Tea Break, Joanne Callahan is over in Ireland. She's a sleep expert. She's got a podcast. She's been on podcasts. So it's easy for me to say, hey, let's connect on LinkedIn, and then I'll make an introduction to Joanne. Right? Doesn't cost me anything but a couple of minutes. And the ability to recall, okay, Joanne, what's Joanne's last name? Oh, yeah. Right? Boom.
Right.
Done.
Well, and Scott, with that too, and we're going to get to our last round here. And David, I'm going to jump to you. But with that, when you have mutual connections and you're coming together as a community and people already have a feel for that community, I figure like David, when I come onto your page, I figure people have a feel for the way you operate. And if they're sticking around and commenting and actively engaging, those are the kind of people I want to engage with, right? That's so I just start thinking, who do I want to engage with? Who? And honestly, I'm the kind of person, I don't care where they are in the world. I reach out to people all over the world. During my cancer battle over the last year, I've had a whole, just thousands of those people reach back to me and pray for me and call me and do things. Been such a blessing. Also, when you're connected, like Tim Sohn, good example. I'm going to that showing of perspectives on cancer next week. He connected me with the gentleman who has now become my great friend, who now we're roomies at the conference. He's picking me up from the airport. Then we became friends with this gal from New York who's riding with us to the conference. And so James and Zareda suddenly are great friends of mine. And I've only known them for a short time, but it's because of all the mutual connections, the community that's already banded together that has been an advantage for my network. Right, David? It's coming together with like-minded people.
100%. I'll leave with this. So on LinkedIn, you max out at 30,000 connections. You can't have any more. I have 29,100 and something, 118,000 followers. But the power isn't always who you know. Just like what we're all talking about today. Hey, I can introduce you to this person. The really power on LinkedIn is those second degree connections, and everybody can see how many you have. I checked before the show. I have 4.4 million second degree connections. So when one of my clients asked me, Dave, do you know somebody that works at this company? The answer is probably going to be yes. But what if it's a smaller company? The answer might be no, but I might know somebody that knows somebody. So connecting with people that have a few connections actually helps as well, but it helps you help other people. So, and again, so everybody can check out how many, second degree connections you have. You go into the search, you click in there, you click people, you go to connections, you hit second degree, it'll tell you how many you have. And again, the more connections your connections have, the bigger that gets. So.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's utilizing that to your advantage in a good way. I mean, just because you're using something to your advantage doesn't mean you're being deceitful. You're being smart and thinking, these are the kind of people I want to hang out with. Jim Rohn said, we are the average of the 5 people closest to us. Well, let's get a nice big 5 that keeps us expanding, right? And keeps getting better. And so we keep getting better through all that. So, David, how do people get in touch with you?
I would say probably just LinkedIn. Message me on LinkedIn. I check it. A bot isn't gonna. My VA isn't gonna check it. It'll be me. Send me a connection request. I can accept 800 and some more, and I gotta save some for some clients. So, yeah, message me on LinkedIn. Follow me, and we'll take it from there.
Well, I want to tell you that I am just blessed that I got in on the connection train before you were running out of connections. And
you go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I every month now I do go look and thin out a few, some older ones, not former clients, but just some, because again, you max out. Why LinkedIn has that? You can have unlimited followers. I got connections that have millions and millions of followers, but for whatever reason, you can only have 30,000 connections. Go figure.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea why that is, but use what you can, right? You just keep getting people that are interested in following. And, as I bounce to you, Russ, I was going to say that one thing that I have been really blessed with through the process is other people that are thoughtfully thinking about what you're like and want to connect you to people, right? And so as we talked about helping each other out, as you're building that community, as you're posting daily, like David said, as you're engaging with other people's content, those people are forming an image and a perception of who you are and what you're all about. And I think that as they do that, they think of people they know that they can connect you with. And a lot of those people, I'm telling you, if anybody is not connected to Luke in New York, you got to connect with Lucas. He'll connect you with about 1,000 just by himself. Yeah, no, I'm just telling you. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's Luke. But the thing is with people is they start forming those opinions based on the things you're doing. And Russ, I started watching you from the get-go and learning, and I won't even call you a connection. You were just such an amazing friend and the best name ever.
Well, I want to amplify this message that David just covered. And the reality is we have, the opportunity to do this and make the connections, but it's not only who you know, but who knows you.
Right.
Because, with D. Scott Smith, the first time we met, having been online and having that connection and being able to jump on a call, it removed the uncomfortable position of walking into the room and not knowing anyone. So when you do have the opportunity to meet in person, there's no reservations about how will I act? What will I do? What are we going to talk about? Because it's almost as if you already know the individual, and it's really simple. Like you're saying, Russ, all of a sudden you've met them online, you've had conversations, and now you're driving to a conference together. It just accelerates that connectivity and that conversation and that collaboration element. So it's really important just to reach out. And like I said before, put yourself out there, be consistent, create content. That's what the whole the Pirate newsletter is all about, is for creators, by creators. It's created for that purpose because there's a lot of people, if you create quality content and you add value, like David was saying, there's no restriction to what can happen in your world. So
yeah, and that's awesome. And Russ, people get in touch with you how?
Go to if you want to call, bookruss.com. You can always connect with me on that. And also LinkedIn, connect with me. I don't have as many connections as David, but I do have a few openings there as well. So happy to connect with you, and just send me an invitation and DM me and follow up, because I'm more than happy to connect.
There you go. Awesome. All right, Russ, Steve Spiro, you are next.
Absolutely. Well, I did a little thing here, David, and I'm 165,000 second connection. So that was my number. I appreciate that little hack there. One thing I want to mention, if you're in creator mode, I learned this recently on a LinkedIn audio event. If somebody's going to your connect your profile, you got to go to the more ... and then you could hit connect. And I think people just assume you can't. You just have to dig a little bit, and you can. And the advantage, if you're listening and you're wondering, following is great, but you're just going to be able to see content. If you want to communicate and connect, especially if you're on the unpaid version, you have to connect and they have to accept your connect request, not just follow. Some people want to do it because they think it's polite to start following before you connect. I'm a in-your-face, bull in a china closet guy. Just go in there, whatever. I'm just like, you like me? Here I am, But anyway, this has been great. I just want to, so, and I got to jump in like a minute, but best way to reach me is on LinkedIn. I live there. I don't really live in any of the other social platforms. Or you could go to stevespiro.com, and that'll get you to all of the different things I do. To hire me as a speaker, it's spiro-global.com. But that you can get to that through stevespiro.com, and you can get to my show at masterconnector.show. So a few links there, but stevespiro.com will get you everywhere.
That is so awesome. And one thing I want to say is all the information that everybody's giving is directly clickable in the comments and in the show notes. So as you get ready to exit the show tonight, just like you see on the screen, click on Steve information, click on David, click on Russ, click on D. Scott, and get over there and connect with them. And that's what this is all about. So Steve, I know you got to jump. Thanks for being here.
Appreciate having it. Thanks. Great being on stage with you folks. Incredible. Take care.
We'll see you. All right, Scott, it's up to you. To wrap things up here.
I believe one conversation can change your life or change your business. And that's why that's the tagline under my name on LinkedIn. And so people can find me on LinkedIn, D. Scott Smith, and you can go to dscottsmith.com and all the connection stuff is there. LinkedIn is the place that I probably spend the most time. You can find me over on Instagram if you want, but let's send me an email, scott@dscottsmith.com, or on LinkedIn. And as I said in the comments, I believe that every person that's watching this show already has a fabulous network filled with remarkable people who want you to succeed. They just need to know what problem you solve and who your ideal customer is. And you can build from that. And so don't worry about, oh, I can't go to networking events, or I'm shy, or whatever. It doesn't matter. You already have a great network. Lean into that first.
Amen. Amen.
Amen to
Yes.
that.
And also, let me just wind up with my LinkedIn newsletter this week was on time. And you know what? It is true what the song says. Time is on your side. Any of you want to sing that for me? There you go. None of you want to sing. Okay.
Rolling Stones. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Time is on. Anyway, okay. So, but that is so true, because you get to choose how you spend your time. You don't really need more time. You need to be more effective at utilizing the time that you have. So I don't want to hear out there that you don't have time to network and connect with people. You don't have time not to network and connect with people. It is what sustains community is what we were built for. We were created by God for community. And so today you need to schedule 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Don't let social media consume you. You control it. Give yourself 15 minutes to connect with people on social media and then get off. But at least you intentionally got busy, did some stuff, and spent that time effectively and wisely. And that is so, so important. So, guys, I tell you, I do not even know what to say, how amazingly thankful I am for all of you. And it has been just a wonderful last few years getting to know you. And I look forward to, as I tell everybody, I'm a lifetime connector. So now you're stuck with me as your friend. I am not going anywhere, right? And that, by the way, is what connection is all about. Connection is not, hey, David, let's connect. And David says, hey, Russ, I can help you get a job for $7.99. Join my thing. That is not connection. Connection is David saying, Russ, let's hop on a plane and go meet my wife in Maui. And I'm like, great, I got my wife. Let's go. We're going to Maui. Come on. Connection is doing things and doing life and engaging with people, however that is, right? Whether it's virtually or in person. That is connection. And you may think you don't have time for that, but I can tell you, like Scott said, you can only obviously do so much with your time, but you will easily see who you truly connect and vibe with. And I have made some of the best, deepest relationships of my life over the last couple of years virtually. Here in a couple of weeks, about a month, we're going away with our two best couple friends, my wife and I, up to Mount Hood area. We're going to we get a house together, 3-bedroom, 3-bath house. We have a great time together. They are amazing, amazing friends, but I've made some friends pretty close to that I've actually never been in the same room with, that would actually hop on a plane and fly to Oregon if I really was that desperate in need. And I really believe that, sometimes we can't do that, but people have that, like their willingness to go beyond to help each other. So that is what networking connection is all about, guys. I can't even tell you. I'm going to wrap it up here with just all of you on the screen, but I just want to say thank you again for being here. And everybody, here you go. Thursdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, Russ Reels Live every week. We have amazing people like we have right here on the screen every week. Please, please, please go to, as it says below there, russreels.live and subscribe on YouTube, because you will be amazed at the number of amazing people that I've been blessed to have on my live stream. So check that out. And next week, Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Until then, let's all give Ever a big screen. We're going to do a screenshot. So let's all give us our happy faces. There you go. So she got a couple screenshots from that. So we're all good. And until we see you again, everybody, have a great day and a great life. Bye-bye.
Cheers.